in this video I am going to show you guys how to assemble brand new skates. I just received a whole set of new equipment from topskate.dk and I am about to show you how to put it all together for a beautiful piece of inline skates. So I'm going to show you how we go from this to this. What you need and what is included if you buy a complete set of inline skates will be the boot itself, a set of frames, 16 bearings. This depends whether you bought a 3-wheel frame or a 4-wheel frame. You're going to have these long screws. In this case, I'm going to put together a skate with a 3-wheel frame, so there's only 3 screws. Furthermore, we got the screws or bolts to actually mount the frame onto the inline boot, and these are the spacers that we need in between the bearings when we mount them on the inline wheels. Finally, you will need this fancy wrench called a hex or torx. That depends on what kind of boot you're using. And I also suggest that you find a piece of tape. It can be any kind, such as this. And that is something we're going to use once we put the frame on. So in case you want to adjust it later on, you remember where you put it at first. So let's get to it. The first thing we want to do is to mount the frame on the boot. And for this, like I mentioned, we'll need 2 of these screws. Those are essential as those are the ones that go through the frame up into the bottom of the skates. This is a little delicate because it really depends what kind of brand of skates as well as frames that you're using. In this case, we have a Lugino Challenge, and as you can see, there's 2 different mounting slots here in the front, and there's only 1 in the back. Usually it goes like this, where these are mounted like that, so they go back and forth. And as you can see here, for the frame, it goes sideways from left to right. That's super handy. That way we can rotate it, or we can move it backwards forward, as well as we can move it from side to side. This frame is a Sierra frame. It's a 3x125 millimeters. In this video, I'm going to mount a set of 110 millimeter wheels, which I think is a little better for beginners. So you can find balance easily and you won't struggle too much to cave in and out. I'm going to show you how to put the frame on in a pretty neutral position. Some people have a tendency to fall to the inside, and some other people do have a tendency to fall to the outside. I'm just going to put it right in the middle and show you how to do that. Okay, this can be a little tricky at times because it's pretty hard to find the holes down here in this skate. It shouldn't be too much of a struggle. As you can see, if you come closer, and you look really close here, there's 2 slots, and you want to try and see if you can slide the screw like that in between here. Alright, so now that we got that, you want to make sure that you have the text pointing like that, because these are not of the same height, which means that a frame will always have a direction, and you would want to have it pointing in the right direction. Let me just clear up the space for you guys here. So this is where you can easily put it here. There's 2 different mounting spots. Like I mentioned, I'm going to do it in a pretty neutral position. So I'm going to take the inner spot, but put the blade a little to the outer, which will ultimately have the frame right here in the middle. Let's get to it. Try and find this with my wrench or my key here. Seems like we got it. And then I try and plug it into the hole of the skate. Kind of hold it together. Sometimes it's a little difficult to actually find the right spot where it tightens, but I believe we got it. Okay, so even though we found the hole, don't tighten it too hard just right yet, because we want to be able to move it a little around so we can find the hole in the back of the skate. Same procedure. So let's mount the other part. Now we got everything in line. We got all the holes open for the bolt to get in. And it should be possible to just slide it in. And as soon as we get a hold of it, you can feel how it's tightening up. Alright, so now we've got it fixed both in the front and the back. Like I mentioned, I'm going to put it in a pretty neutral position. So right in the middle of the slots. And I will screw it in place. You don't want to tighten it too far, but you also don't want it to run loose as you're out inline skating. So go for something right in the middle of it. Alright, so far so good. We got the frame fixed to the booth, neutral position. The reason I mentioned the tape in the beginning of this video is that this is the point in the video where you want to put a tiny piece of tape here and the inside, the outside of the frame, so that when you're out skating you're like, oh, I'm falling a little to the outside. You come back home, you look at it, and then you can readjust the frame accordingly to this position of the tape. So you know that you put it a little further in, and then next time you might be right on top of the skate. The wheels. The wheels are pretty similar. One thing that people should never forget, even though it happens quite a lot, is the spacers. These are spacers, like I showed in the introduction of the video. You want to put these right in between the bearings. So there is in total 3 different components of the wheel. The wheel itself, the bearings, and the spacers. As you can see from this point of view, the bearing simply goes inside the wheel. You flip it around, you put the spacer in, make sure it's flat in the wheel. Once you're sure of that, you can add a spacer to the other side, and it rolls. And that's where you put it on the frame. Take your screw, straight through. And same goes as before when we mounted the frame. Don't tighten it too far, but also don't let it be too loose because you don't want to lose the wheels when you're out inline skating. And it seems like we've got the wheel on. Now all you got to do is repeat this last step for the remainder of the wheels. And guess what? You got a pair of inline skates ready for use. Myself and the rest of Top Skate, thank you a lot for watching this video. Make sure you check out our website because we got a whole lot of cool equipment. And if you have any questions regarding equipment whatsoever, we will be there to answer. Thanks a lot for watching, and please subscribe. There'll be more cool videos coming out.